Welcome. This is a brief tutorial on soft logic as it relates to engineering. And a couple of assumptions here. The industry that is the primary focus is oil and gas, and the type of project is engineering, procurement, construction, EPC. These are the watchwords of soft logic. Less is more. And I basically belong to the school of thought that says no schedule should be greater than 3,000 activities. And some of you are now shaking your head, and I think that you can accomplish everything that you have to and more by putting less into the schedule. That doesn't mean you lose any of the detail. It just means that it's not necessarily captured in the schedule. Now, one of the things that you have to remember is that the schedule does have to capture all of the hours that were presented in the estimate. So any time variable cost, and that could include rentals, should appear somewhere in the schedule. These are the basic tenets of soft logic. And that's it: drawing specifications, requisitions, purchase orders, and any other repetitive activity that does not have an inherent hard logic relationship to other activities should be carried off schedule. And what this means is that drawings do not have to be executed in any kind of specific order. In fact, experience seems to show that many drawings will be started, but not necessarily finished in the same order in which they were started. And so it's only important to track the progress being made on the drawing, not necessarily the order in which that drawing is being worked. And to do that, I think that there are other tools available for us that'll do a better job. And for me, it's spreadsheets for things like drawings and specifications and requisitions, and a database for things like purchase orders. Now, we do have to keep in mind that all off-schedule activities still need to be tracked in progress. So there's going to be somewhere in that schedule where we're keeping track of percent complete. So we're not losing any visibility necessarily. And I will try to convince you of this later. But again, basic watchword, less is more, and I'll leave you with this: KISS, keep it simple. Okay, it all starts here. It starts with the estimate. This is the estimate that was developed by the PCS lead and given to the project and accepted by the project. And you can see what we want to focus on here is the first line item there, the PCS drawings. And that shows that we have a total of 77 drawings within an original budget of 2,465 hours, about 2,500 hours. And what I did was I took this estimate, again, maintaining the focus on the PCS drawings, and this is what the schedule I developed for this. And it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward, and fairly easy to understand and to maintain. And again, you'll notice that we have the entire hours, we have the budgeted cost, and a little thing I have here is this crew size, which tells me I'm going to need approximately 1.5 people assigned to this thing full time. And obviously you don't have a half person assigned to anything, but it gives you an idea of what your resource loading is going to be. And that's essentially what I show. And we might decide that we can't have that particular lump there in the middle starting about December, and so we could adjust that. But right now, this is what I'm going with. And what I would probably do is take the equipment specs right now with 3 guys and move that out a bit just to level it. But at this point in time, I just want to show you what we can do here with soft logic that is probably a little easier done than it is anywhere else. We're not losing any of the detail, and instead we really captured probably more of it. So going back then to our, well, let me show you how this, well, going back to the estimate. This is our plan. These are all of our drawings for PCS drawings. And you can see the budget, 2,400 hours. And this is when he thought he was going to start these drawings. And he's in a better position to know this than I am. He knows what he wants to do. So I just take this information, and we have now pivot table. And so this shows when he's going to start all of his various drawings. And so you can see that it's scattered throughout approximately an 10-month period. And a little more difficult to do in a schedule than it is here. But we have all of that. So pay attention to the beginning date here was the 7th for the 14th of July 2013. And just pay attention to that date, because now we're going to see what happens with the end dates on this thing. And this is what happens for the IFC, issue for construction drawings. And this basically gives his plan of issuing these particular drawings. And again, the date here to pay attention to is April 17th. So what happens now, we go back to the schedule and make sure that our dates correspond. And obviously I've done this beforehand, but that would be one of the first things you'd want to do. And we probably go look at instrumentation specs and recs for that too, to see if we can capture those. I don't want to get into too much detail except to show you that. Another thing I want to show you is in P6 we have kind of an interesting little thing. With the notebook, I can keep a list of all of my drawings. So just something that's in there. But more importantly, in the work product and docs, I now have access to that complete file. So as the engineer, Status is that puts it out on SharePoint. It's now available for me to get really easily. So as for each activity, I know what file I'm going to use for that activity. Obviously, we could have multiple activities with one file, but this again with just one example of how to do it. The whole thing is in setup, and so you have right here, and again you saw what we did here with and we can do that with the lead, and we can do that with any of our relationships now, just so that we understand where they are. So these all are just the instrumentation designer or engineer. But that is the essence of soft logic. You don't lose any of the detail, you just find a better way to present it. A way that's easier to handle. This is especially true of those activities that have random deliveries, random starts. Just unless you did every drawing, you would not be able to capture that. And I would submit to you that that's not what you want to do. Find something like this that works a little bit better. So I recommend that you use soft logic for any of your engineering and your construction bulks. We'll deal with the construction bulks in another tutorial. Thank you.